He didn't call it self-betrayal at first. He called it being reasonable, being flexible, being mature. That's what Daniel told himself every time he ignored the tight feeling in his chest. Every time he swallowed a truth because it might make things uncomfortable. Every time he said, "It's fine," when it wasn't. At first, it felt harmless. He would notice the moment his body reacted before his mind did. A pause, a hesitation, a subtle resistance he couldn't explain. But instead of listening, he would override it with logic. "You're overthinking. Don't make this bigger than it is. You don't want to be difficult." So he stayed quiet. And the strange thing was, nothing dramatic happened right away. No explosion, no obvious consequence. Life simply continued, which made it easier to keep doing it again. What Daniel didn't realize was that each time he dismissed himself, he was teaching his inner voice something dangerous, that it didn't matter. Self-betrayal rarely feels like betrayal in the moment. It feels like compromise, like kindness, like choosing peace. But over time, it leaves behind a residue, a quiet erosion of self-trust. Daniel began to notice something unsettling. He felt disconnected from his own decisions. Even when things went well, he didn't feel grounded in them. When things went wrong, he blamed himself, not for the outcome, but for not speaking up sooner. He started replaying moments in his head. "I knew better. I felt that. Why didn't I listen to myself?" But instead of responding with compassion, he responded with frustration at himself. The world hadn't betrayed him nearly as much as he had betrayed himself. And that realization was heavier than any external disappointment. There was a moment, quiet, almost forgettable, when it finally clicked. He was standing alone one evening, replaying a recent interaction. Nothing explosive had happened. Just another situation where he had gone along with something that didn't sit right. Another time he had abandoned his own boundary to keep the peace. And for the first time, he didn't ask, "Why do people keep doing this to me?" He asked, "Why do I keep doing this to myself?" That question changed everything. Daniel realized he wasn't afraid of confrontation. He was afraid of losing connection. He had learned somewhere along the way that being accepted required him to minimize himself. So every time his inner voice spoke up, he treated it like a threat instead of guidance. Self-betrayal had become a survival strategy. But survival is not the same as self-respect. The turning point wasn't dramatic. There was no confrontation speech, no sudden reinvention, just a decision, small but radical. The next time his body said no, he didn't override it. He paused. And even though his voice shook, even though the words felt unfamiliar, he honored what he felt instead of silencing it. And nothing terrible happened. The world didn't collapse. He wasn't rejected. And even if he had been, he realized something vital. Losing approval would hurt less than losing himself. That was the moment Daniel understood the true cost of self-betrayal. It wasn't about missed opportunities or strained relationships. It was about waking up one day and realizing you no longer trust your own voice because you've trained yourself not to listen to it. Healing didn't mean never compromising again. It meant choosing self-loyalty before self-abandonment. It meant treating his inner knowing not as an inconvenience, but as a responsibility. Because self-love isn't loud. Sometimes it's simply the decision to stop leaving yourself behind. And the freedom that follows isn't explosive. It's steady, grounded, quietly powerful. The kind of freedom that comes from finally standing on your own side. And maybe the quiet lesson in all of this is not about learning to trust yourself more, but about remembering the moments you didn't and choosing gently not to abandon yourself again. Because self-betrayal is not loud. It happens in small silences, in the pause, where you knew the truth and convinced yourself to ignore it. Healing doesn't demand that you're perfect. It only asks that the next time your inner voice speaks, you stay. Together, let's move from doubt to power, one story at a time.